Hello guys, how are you? Hope you are doing well. In today's lecture, we will sum up what we have learned till now and will draw a parallel with deep learning. Let's start. So, we have a convex function and our task is to find its minimum value. And just to remind you, if you have a question, why we have to find a minimum value? It's because we assume that this function is a cost function and we have to minimize it. And in order to minimize it, we have to find its minimum value. For this task, we have to find point of a variable where gradient equals 0. How we can do this? We will find gradient at random point and decrease that random point by 1/100th gradient until change will be insignificant. So let's see it on a function. We have a cost function and we find its derivative function. Then we find its gradient at random point. And t here is a random number. Then we decrease t by 1/100th of gradient. We will iterate this loop until change in t is insignificant. This will happen because gradient will be 0 or almost 0, and we will come to the point where t will be equal to t. If you have difficulties till now, I would recommend you to refer to the previous 2 lectures. So, let's finally return to our deep learning cost function. If you remember, it was y hat or predicted value minus y, all squared, where y hat was equal to w times x plus b. And just for your convenience, v denotes weight and b denotes bias. Here, you have to strictly understand that x and y are constant variables. They do not change, and as a result, we only have 2 variables, w and b. So, we find derivatives as on the left. The difference here is that we find partial derivatives with respect to w and b separately. But in the case on the left, we had only 1 variable. In addition, we apply chain rule because we have a function within a function where w times x plus b is 1 and squaring them is another function. So we find gradients as on the left. Again, just to remind you, derivative is a function derived once, but gradient can be calculated at any point using derivative function, and gradient equals to the certain number unlike derivative. So we make updates until change in w and b will be insignificant. That's all for now. See you in the next deep learning cycle lecture.